tuning in today. We have a very special guest with us. Hi, Denise. I see her waving in the background. Mary's back there. Happy birthday, Mary. Belated birthday, Mary.
Happy birthday.
Hello.
Awesome. All right, so we have an extremely awesome, great guest with us today. One of the reasons I love Perry so much is because I remember when I was brand new at Keller Williams in the Bold room, you were a team leader at the time. And I always remember you were always leading Bold, and you were very passionate about helping agents, and you were very front and center about driving the training in our region. So thank you so much for.
What year was that?
Probably 2011, 12, 13. 14,
10 years
15,
ago. Look
16.
at that. It makes us seem old.
It does. Yeah. So what's really unique about you is that you wear so many different hats, and you've served in so many different roles within the industry and within Keller Williams. So I'm really excited just to hear your story, what you've learned, what you can share with us, and what are some key takeaways we can have today for our agents that are looking to grow their business, get into the sports and entertainment, or even become in a leadership role within the company. So let's just go back to the very beginning.
Sure.
To when it all started. So tell me about, when did you start in real estate, and why did you choose this profession?
Yeah, good question. I don't think anybody 90% of people don't choose to get into real estate. So I'm a farm kid from North Dakota. After college, I went to the University of North Dakota. After college, I spent a year traveling for the fraternity I belonged to as a leadership consultant, which ironically, without that experience, I could not have been a team leader for 13 years, because that experience is like being the pledge educator, the president, and the recruitment chair of a big company, which is what being a team leader is. So after doing that in 2002, my fiance at the time and I moved to Minneapolis. My sister literally lived in an apartment like within walking distance of here, so I know this area very well. Moved to Minneapolis, didn't have a job. I have a degree in advertising from University of North Dakota, which basically means I majored in beer and girls and not studying in Grand Forks back in the day. Had no idea what I wanted to do. And I went to a job fair, and a couple of hotshot guys from AmeriQuest Mortgage, if you ever remember that company, said, hey, you can have a job, you can make all this money. And so I tell people I was a really bad loan officer for about a year. And then a college buddy of mine, his dad was starting a title company in Bloomington, and I worked for them for 3 years. And that company went out of business because my buddy's father-in-law, the owner, actually embezzled money and went to jail. And I remember exactly where I was at, and I was in a car when I found out, driving back from a sales call, and I said, I'm never working for anyone again. And I was just pissed. And went and got my real estate license in July 1st of 2005, joined a company called Help You Sell, which isn't really around anymore. Discount brokerage. A couple of buddies of mine that we did closings for had a Help You Sell franchise. Was living in Richfield. And we were pregnant with twins at the time. So they're now, if I look tired, I am. We have 16-year-old twin daughters with a ton of challenges and drama and all that. I got a son who's 15 months younger. They were all from a practice marriage in my 20s. They split time with me and their mom. We live in Bloomington. We just bought a house in Woodbury, actually. We're gonna be moving. And then I have a almost 5-year-old and then a 6-month-old. So anyway, got my real estate license when the twins were newborns. Or no, they weren't even born yet, actually. Because they were born in January of 2006. I got licensed in 2005. Anyway, sold real estate for a year with Help You Sell. And then we discovered after the twins were born that daycare was like $2,200 a month. And my wife had a great job. We went from double income, no kids, to me selling real estate. We decided to move back to North Dakota, where I'm from, to be closer to family. And I was just gonna sell real estate. So went from double income, no kids, great insurance, car allowances, she had all the stuff, to moving to North Dakota, where I hadn't lived since high school. I was gonna sell real estate. And a high school buddy of mine's mom was an agent at Keller Williams in Fargo. Her name's Jan, and I called her and I'm like, hey, tell me about Keller Williams and what are you doing, all this stuff. And she's like, oh, it's got this cool cap commission structure. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Because I was on like a 50-50 splits, 60% if I brought in the business.
Help you sell.
Yeah, it would help you so. And I was like, can I come work with you? And she's like, sure. So that's how I got into real estate, kind of on accident. Didn't know anything about real estate besides the title side and the mortgage side. When we moved back to Fargo, again, I was just going to sell real estate and we didn't have insurance or anything. I went and threw boxes at UPS because they give you part-time benefits. So I was throwing boxes from 4 in the morning to 8 in the morning for insurance. Simultaneously, our market center, which Melissa knows in Fargo, was looking for a team leader. And in college, I had taught on the DISC assessment, so I knew about behavioral assessments. And I was like, oh, this might be cool. I'll apply for the job. And, because I might have some benefits and an actual salary. And they whittled it all down. And then sure enough, they hired me literally like 3 months after I moved back to Fargo. Actually, 2 months. Because we moved to Fargo July 6th of 06 is when I joined Keller Williams. And then in August, I was hired as a team leader.
So brand new to real estate, brand new to the team leader role.
New to the market. Yep. New to Fargo. I was the 8th agent who joined that office.
You were the 8th agent that joined that office.
Yep. And then they literally were going to close the market center. Todd Bootser was the regional director at the time. He had just started as the RD. And he's like, to Jim, the old OP, he's like, I think you guys should probably just close this thing up. Because they had struggled for years. They were market center 266. And they literally had 8 agents in like 4 years.
8 agents.
8. No, 7. I was number 8.
So, okay, got it.
In a market of Fargo is like 500 agents total.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't understand is running a real estate market center is a lot like running a real estate business. There's a lot of correlation between what you do and how you do it. So, so tell me how it went being a team leader and running a brokerage. Like, how was your first year?
Yep. So I was 26, 7, 28, I think, and I had no idea what to do. And so I asked Todd Bootser, our old regional director, for somebody who's been around long enough, what do I do? And he's like, well, call Darren Kittleson, who owns the Wisconsin offices, and he'll tell you what to do. So, and this would be like one piece of advice if you're taking notes or whatever, is I see Bob and Diane. Hi, Bob and Diane. What Darren said is, if you master the MREA book, the red book, you can help any agent anywhere in the world build their business. Like, period, end of story. If you do that, you'll be fine. So I kind of went on a mission to know that book better than anyone you'll ever meet, besides probably Gary, Dave, and Jay.
Who wrote it? Yeah.
Yep. So within a year, we went from 8 agents to about 60 in Fargo. And I spent 3 years building that office. And I read a book then called The Go-Giver. Has anyone ever read The Go-Giver? The Go-Giver by Bob Burg. We just came out with a marriage book. So if you want to improve your marriage, buy the marriage book. That's really good too. And that book says there's 5 laws of stratospheric success. One of them is your income will be in direct proportion to the number of people you serve and how well you serve them. It's called the law of compensation in the book. And so I decided, we actually missed it down here because my sister lived in Apple Valley. My brother was in Hopkins. And we literally find ourselves coming down here all the time just to hang out. So I decided to explore opportunities down here. Moved to Richfield and took over as the Uptown team leader for 3 years. And through that time, went through a divorce as well. We can talk about that for hours if you guys want to talk about that. There are definitely lessons there I could share. And then at the end of 2012, Tom Vance and Job Butler, our OP and broker, said, hey, we want to switch you and Jake Lures. He's up in Otsego. And I'm like, where's that? And we just swapped roles. Jake and I swapped roles. And I was like, I'll do this for temporary to see how it goes. Because I was literally driving 42 miles from my house to Elk River, Otsego to be the team leader. Ended up doing that for 7 years. And yeah, and then at the end of 2019, I decided I wanted to give up the role, which we've talked about a little bit, and went on this journey to find Craig, the new team leader there. And then, so I've been selling real estate since January 1 of 2020. I'm also a MAPS business coach. We could talk about that as an opportunity for what you can, how you can leverage that with your database. So I coach 1 day a week now, and then I sell as well.
And you sell as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a lot in 6 minutes, but yeah, that's the background.
That's the background. Wow. It's
Yeah.
fun to see how you went from here to here and where you are today and how you actually really did that in a short period of time if you really break it down. So let's talk about what did you learn as a team leader? What would you say are like the top 3 things that you learned as a team leader about the industry, about building a business that you would tell people today?
Yep. So when I looked at the questions, so I do these interviews every single month too, and I always want to put it in perspective from you guys sitting there, and like, what can you guys learn that you can go implement by the end of the week, right? As a team leader, every single problem, and it's the same for every one of you, and it's the same for me. So one of the fun things about being on this side of this conversation is things we're going to talk about today are things that I've learned over the years, and I'm actually just saying them out loud and telling myself the same thing because we all struggle, right? So lead generation will solve every single problem you have. We used to say in running market centers, growth solves everything. And that means you could say the same thing for your business. Growth, as in the growth of your business, will solve every single problem you have.
In life. Not life. I mean, like marriage problems is different, but like financial problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you write down right now on a piece of paper your 3 biggest struggles in your business, I'm willing to bet you lead gen will solve every one of those. Yeah. So if you're saying to yourself, I don't have to lead gen because I have so much business, you know, I'm busy, then you have a people problem. So the second lesson would be who you surround yourself with in your team matters. And that's whether you're sole agent and your team is, you know, the people in the market center, or you have a transaction coordinator or marketing, or, you know, you're like Trent and Kristen, you have a big team. The people you are in business with matter, and you're only as good as them. That would probably be the second one.
Okay.
The third one, I think, and this took me a while, is just having clarity on why you're doing what you're doing. So I have had a coach since 2006, which some days you like that, some days you don't. But my coach made me go through creating a mission statement. So like we all have days where you don't want to wake up, you're tired. Like literally, if I look tired, it's because I'm tired. Because we have a 6-month-old, I have a sassy almost 5-year-old, and I got 3 teenagers with a boatload of shit in their own, you know. Sorry.
Drama.
Yeah, drama, literally. So.
Yeah.
My mission as a person literally helps me wake up every morning. So my mission is to faithfully be a blessing to those I serve, and to empower, equip, and inspire all to achieve their dreams. So when I don't want to lead generate, or I don't want to go to work, or I don't want to do anything, like I have that on a post-it note on my computer that says like, here's why you're doing this. Like I don't work for money. Money's only a result of the good work we do. Do we all need money? Yes, without question. Like kids are expensive. You know, but at the end of the day, it's about helping people for me. That's why I do this. So, and that's why I coach. That's why I now sell real estate. And again, it's not always fun. And we all have good days and bad days and all that. And I think the mission is what keeps me going every single day and wanting to help people. So it'd be lead gen solves everything. The people you're in business with matter in your team. And then like, if you don't have a purpose, figure out what, like why you're actually doing this. Because this isn't about one more transaction for sure. Does that make sense?
That makes, yeah, complete sense.
So.
Excellent. Any questions with that, you guys? No? Good.
I love that you have it memorized too. You know, I mean, some people like, well, here's my 2-page mission statement.
Yeah.
You know, yours is.
Yeah, this is my email signature, so everyone sees it. And Yeah, I mean, I have to is not the right word. I get to look at it every day because it literally, there are days where you don't want to do what you know you need to do. So if you're struggling right now with something, you can literally put a mirror up to your face and say, what am I not doing that if I were, this would be better. And that's not always fun. For sure.
Let's talk about lead generation real quick. So
Yeah.
you went from being a team leader to going back into real estate
Yep.
to become a full-time real estate agent. Did you have a database when you were a team leader of buyers and sellers that you had kept, or did you start essentially all over, or start your database once you got back into selling full-time? Tell us about that. And because you're having a lot of success right now. You are selling houses. I see you've got another team member.
Mhm.
You're growing your business. So how did that transition go? And how did you go from a leadership role to all of a sudden one day you wake up and now you're a real estate agent, knowing
Yeah.
what you know?
Yeah, practicing. I mean, I've been licensed forever, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, so my wife so I met Andrea in 13. We got engaged in 14, married in 15. This sounds really nerdy, and I'll say it anyway. We met in 13. I literally gave her the DISC assessment in the old, it was the ABA back in the day. Within the first month of dating. And that's nerdy, and I'd recommend it. She was not happy at her corporate job at Target. And bottom line is, I talked her into getting a real estate license within probably about a year. And so she sold for like 2 or 3 years. And she was actually the rookie of the year in the Edina Market Center in like 15, I think. In 2018, we decided to buy a lake cabin, and she decided she hated real estate. So she got out of it. But so we kind of had the shell of her database. We've always been good about sending out Christmas cards and, having that. So I literally had a database in Shutterfly where we mail our Christmas cards. Right? So no, we didn't really have one, and yet I had one that we built from there. So yes.
So what did you do day one? You got back into real estate.
Yeah.
What did you do day one, or what did you do the first week, the first month?
Yeah. So when I decided to go back into selling, I wanted to prove that the models in the MRA book work. Because if I'm teaching it for whatever 13 years, like my mindset was now I get to actually apply this and make it work. So week one we sent out a letter, or actually I think it was our Christmas card that year where I included a letter saying, hey, I'm diving back into real estate. So if you're new to the business or you haven't done this and you should have done it at the beginning, you should literally send your database an announcement saying, hey, I'm in real estate, I'm here to help, let me know what you need. So I did that. And then in the book, it talks about a 36 touch, 33 touch. So I brought, just for fun. So this is our 22 marketing and social media plan I brought for you, and I can send you guys this if you want it. So from a lead generation standpoint, I would say and right now, so it's me, myself, my nephew Noah just got licensed last year. He handles our buyers, some of our buyers. But in 2020, when I started, it was just me. And it was pre-pandemic, and my biggest aha was like, nobody lead generates, nobody's in the office. I'm here first every single day. And if I just do the work, I'm gonna stumble upon business. And that was January 1 of 2020. I didn't have any business, like I didn't close anything until I have my trends report here, until like March or April, but I had a bunch in the pipeline. First year I ended up doing like 23, 24 deals, selling 8.2 million. Plus coaching, plus I was on the executive leadership team at MAPS Coaching for several months. So did about 8.2 million first year, but it all comes down to following the model. So we have a 36 touch plan, which involves I don't know if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Do the database too. So we want to reach out to our database every quarter. We do postcards, we do mailings, and we do some fun sticky event items. So every year I've sent out this best year yet thing to our entire database for 2 years. People love that. We're doing, so tomorrow I have our very first client event. Tomorrow,
Oh, that's
yeah.
exciting. What are you doing?
If you follow us on social media, we're doing an Ales for Alzheimer's event. If you want to donate, shameless plug, click on the QR code. My mom has Alzheimer's up in Fargo. I call her and she has no idea who I am, how many kids I have, or what she did yesterday. So Lynn Hawley's a great agent out of Madison who does this Ales for Alzheimer's event every year. And back in when I was gonna start selling again, I called her. I'm like, hey, I wanted to steal your idea, and she's like, sure, go for it. And then the pandemic hit, so we didn't do it. So anyway, we're having happy hour from 5 to 7 tomorrow at a brewery right by our office in Edina. I got about $2,000 in sponsor money, and we're having a silent auction, and then we're having a wine raffle. And again, the goal is just to raise money for Alzheimer's.
Awesome.
So that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the point is if you're gonna lead generate, you might as well follow a plan that we know has already been proven to be successful. So when I look at that sheet, we're probably executing at maybe 65% of that. Like this is the target that we're shooting for. And I don't get our social media posts done every week. We don't literally call our database every single letter of the alphabet every single week. And that's our roadmap. And we're kind of diverting as we go because it's super busy. So that's the plan. We're probably at score ourselves a C+ right now to execute it.
Okay. Yeah. But you have a plan.
We have a plan.
And you have a plan. Yeah. Who holds you accountable?
Well, so I'm a coach. I have a MAPS business coach on the business side, not on the real estate side. So her sort of, and when I say sort of, I struggle with that at times. I'm on the ALC this year, first time being on the ALC, and we got to report our numbers. So that's a weekly deal. We meet weekly. So mostly them. And then Noah, my nephew, works with me, but actually I believe I work for him because I told him if I hit all my goals this year, but you don't hit any of yours, like it was a fail. And he's struggling right now a little bit. So we're trying to ramp him up as well. One of the things I'll save that. I'll save that for questions. I was going to share something else about that, but wait.
So do you lead generate every day?
No, that's not the right answer. And I know this is recorded.
We won't show Jen names.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So that's,
So
so we have this battle of working on your business and working in your business. So if we're going to talk about some struggles right now, that's why I asked Melissa, I'm like, where's this recording going? If it's just staying in here, awesome, within the market center. If it's public, I don't want to share this, but
just the market center.
I've had some struggles with my teenagers. My son is 15. He has, they're all going to Jefferson in Bloomington. We discovered within the past 6-7 months, he's got a drug problem.
Your son does?
Yeah, he's 15. And there's literally a lounge in the Bloomington Jefferson School District that all they do is smoke weed all day.
In the school?
In the school, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and my son's been doing this like full time since August, which has involved him getting in trouble with the police, me finding drugs, him sneaking out of the house, stealing money from us. Like, so our whole world since August has been turned upside down. Anyway, we pulled him out of school. He's now going to a place in Woodbury.
Okay.
It's not why we're moving. We're going to move to Woodbury anyway. That's a longer story, but so I drive him an hour a day to and from Bloomington in the morning, and then in the afternoon I got to pick him up.
Really?
So like when I leave here, I'm going to pick him up. Anyway, it's dampened my lead gen time a little bit.
I can imagine.
So so yeah, the intent is to lead gen every day. Do I follow the reaching out to, like this week it's D's, O's, and L's as far as our database, I think. I'm not doing that to a T, but my goal this week was 50 personal reach outs to the happy hour we're doing, right? So so in many ways we're succeeding in spite of what we're doing, not because of. And I think you have to adjust with life, right? So year to date with my closing tomorrow, I think we're just over 4 million, or me personally, because Noah hasn't any closings. He's been struggling with some stuff, but yeah, I'm a little bit behind, and life happens.
And family comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So how do you manage having a large family? You have 5 kids and a wife and a growing real estate business. How
Yeah.
do you, and you're a coach, like how do you make sure that you're a dad first, a realtor second? Do you
Yep.
have things in place?
Sort of. It's funny because I was briefly reading through the questions with Andrea, and she's like, well, you work all the time. And I'm like, but I really don't work all the time, because if I'm not actually at work, I feel like I'm home, but I definitely take like half hours here and there to do emails and stuff. So we have a lake cabin in Annandale, and I literally am off from basically May 1st to Labor Day. Thursday night to Sunday, I don't work at all.
You don't work at all.
Like, we're at the lake.
Mhm.
And the second we get into Annandale, my blood pressure just drops.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when I say I don't work at all, like, I'm still emailing, I might write offers and whatnot, but I'm not physically away from my family
Mhm.
during that time, unless it's pretty rare. Like, I mean, am I gonna make exceptions? Yes, I have.
Mhm.
And yet I try to take that time off. We were in a class many, many years ago, and if you're taking notes, this would be a good one. Where if you've ever met Brent Johnson, he's an agent in Edina, awesome guy. He'd be a cool interview because he's very kind of old school. He said this line in front of this class, kind of out of whim, and I've remembered it forever. It was basically, give your family the best of you, not the rest of you. And so, like, I think of that a lot. Like, I need to give my family the best of me, not the rest of me. And if I asked Andrea how I was doing on that, she would, we probably have different answers. And,
My husband would do the same.
And yet,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I would say I'm very present, very involved, very, like, I know what's going on with everyone in the family. And I would much rather have that than another buyer. Right? Or, so I rarely work weekends. I never work past 6 o'clock ever, like, ever.
Really?
Yeah. And if you're like, holy smokes, I couldn't do that. You probably could do that. You just need to say, can you meet at 4, or would 5 be better? Right? Especially in this market, you have to be on top of things. So, like, I would say no job is too small to leverage. And if you set expectations on the front end with people, they're gonna love that on the back end, because you're setting the expectations and how it benefits them. So I would much rather pay someone to do a showing for me than me miss whatever.
Yeah, time with family.
Yeah, because literally showing a property is like $14 an hour work. I pay $25 a showing, but anyone can show a property, and you don't need to be there to write the offer. So yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. I am not, I do not have it mastered, and I would say I'm pretty good about time with family. But the problem is, in real estate, it's not time off, it's time put off. Like, on vacation, we just went to Disney for 5 days. I still feel like I'm catching up on that.
Yeah. Do you have any admin, or do you use a transaction coordinator? Like, who helps you with your files?
Yep. From day one, hired a transaction coordinator, Home Free TC, Alex Marcellet, if you know that company. I know there's a bunch of them out there, but I think I pay him $360 a file, and I've never regretted a dime of that money spent. I think in 2 years, I personally have written 2 offers.
Really?
I don't really even know how to do it. Like, to go into the thing and do it. Like, I don't want to know how to do it.
Transaction desk and
Yeah.
full forms.
I've struggled twice doing that, and I hate that.
So you're obviously successful. So what's the secret to your success, or what makes you $4 million in the first quarter of the year is a lot, especially right now. What are you good at? Yeah. What are you really good at?
What am I good at? This is gonna sound dumb, but I used to joke, like, and Melissa will appreciate this, I'm a farm kid from North Dakota. If I can do this, anyone can. All you need to do is follow the models. Some of you probably on this call are way overthinking it. And you're probably, we tend to make things complicated to avoid doing what we know we should be doing anyway. So this literally is just making relationships and not being pushy. Like I'm persistently, pleasantly pushy at times, but it's just coming from a place of like, I want to help you. You know what? I got my license in 2005. And I tell people I got my license because I had a really bad experience as a realtor, as a first-time buyer, which is true. We had an awful experience buying our first house in 2003. And I never want anyone to experience that. So I think what I'm good at is just understanding like success leaves clues, and you just need to follow the models. And there are things we struggle with. So we have a transaction coordinator. I have someone who helps with some marketing stuff, but I mean, there's a million things on my to-do list that I am not doing that I should be doing. And that's okay.
It's all about your one thing. What's the one thing? You said it, lead generation.
Yeah.
Fixes all problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Tell me about your mornings. What do your mornings look like?
They're awful right now, actually.
Okay.
So I've gone in streaks here as well. With a 6-month-old, that's kind of hard, but I used to get up early. I used to work out. Again, I made a commitment to our ALC last week that I was going to work out 3 times, and I didn't do it. So now I'm buying lunch. Yeah. So since we've had struggles with my son, we have a split entry house in Bloomington, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, which I'm selling. It's gonna be on the market May 19th if you have a buyer.
Tuck that in.
So because the way our house is set up, we have 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms up. One of them's a master. So actually our son is in the master, so he has his own bathroom. And then my twin daughters are in the other 2 bedrooms and they have their own bathroom. Since we've had struggles with my son when they're with us half the time, we bought a day bed that is actually in our dining room right now. So I'm actually sleeping there because literally he unplugged the security system, snuck out of the house, bought drugs, came back, and so I'm sleeping there.
Yeah, you're sleeping on, so he can't leave.
Basically, so I would hear
if he
him.
comes
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sleeping
Good
on
dad.
the bed. And Andrea and the 2 littles are downstairs. So so my mornings aren't what I want them to be today, and that will get better. If you want a morning routine, I would recommend the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Don't read the real estate agent version because that's kind of cheesy. But just the regular Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod is an incredible book to help you with your mornings if you struggle with that, which currently I do.
With kids, it's especially hard because I have 2 of my own that they come first and they don't sleep very good for the first few years. No matter how hard you try, whether they're sick or whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about how do you avoid burnout? How do you keep yourself motivated? How do you avoid burnout, especially with all this stuff going on in your personal life with family?
Yeah, good question. I'd say a couple things. One is, and my kids get annoyed with this, like I'm beyond grateful, like annoyingly grateful for most things in life. As far as like our challenges or struggles, like I don't want to go to school today. I'm like, you get to go to school today. And
You're such a coach.
So it's mindset of gratitude for sure. I would say that's one. Secondly, it's our lake cabin is literally, I've taught my almost 5-year-old daughter. We just went to Disney and I said, Piper, what's the happiest place on earth? And she says the cabin, Disney World second, which is true. So we spend time at the cabin, and then we schedule a lot of vacations. So we just did Disney. We're going to, which we didn't take my son to Disney because of his struggles. He stayed home with his mom. So that was a super big challenge. So I'm actually taking him in June to Philadelphia on a guy's weekend to go see Kenny Chesney, which I'm a big fan of. And then we're taking our daughters on a Sweet 16 New York City trip in June. So 2 trips in June, and we're buying a house in June. And then in July, we're going to San Diego for a week.
So you travel a lot.
And then in September, my wife and I might go to Greece with a work trip for her. And then you got to go to mega camp for sure. So travel, I would say, our lake cabin, bourbon.
Bourbon.
Bourbon is good.
Like wine.
And
Yeah.
summer shandy and Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Unplug.
Not in any particular order, but.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. I love it. You're so real.
Well, and I think we all have struggles, right? Like we could talk for hours about all our struggles.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you need to compartmentalize that stuff. You know, I could say all the reasons why I don't want to do what I know I need to do, and I need to do it anyway. And it's progress, not perfection. Like every day isn't perfect. Like I've had times where I beat myself up because we're behind on some of the contacts, and you just kind of make up for it. One of the goals we have this year, and it's on my sheet, is 40 handwritten notes per month. Okay, 40 handwritten notes per month. And one of the things we did, and I was going to save this for a great question, but you guys haven't asked any yet, is we have branded Starbucks gift cards. So, so birthday, anniversary, just thinking of you, 40 handwritten notes with Starbucks $5 cards. And these have our logo on them. Okay. I was brought these for great questions that you were going to ask. Again, nobody's asked them, so I'll just keep them.
So
Oh,
hold them.
Yeah.
That's for questions. I'll
you
take
get,
that.
yeah, we'll ask
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
for the next few minutes. You'll get a chance. Yeah.
So to that point, one of the things I've been kind of beating myself up about is I am way behind on handwritten notes this month. And again, it's progress, not perfection. Like
Yeah.
I'm, you know, this is the standard we've created for our business. And again, we're not exactly, again, we're 65, 70% there. I'm okay letting myself off the hook that like we have stuff going on and it's okay.
And it's okay.
Right. So,
Give yourself grace.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this isn't part of the questions, but I really want to know this
Yeah.
because you were with Keller Williams pre-command days.
Yes.
And now we have this thing called command.
Yep.
And we're very similar in the same boat. Where I stepped out of leadership and I went back into selling, and I know my experience with command. What do you think about command, and do you use it? And what do you think the opportunity, like where's the opportunity with command for an agent nowadays compared to what it used to be? What you've seen?
Well, so it does everything we need it to do, and I still don't like it. Meaning, like I have a good interview for you would be
Yeah.
Ryan Hansen up in
Yeah.
Fergus Falls.
Yeah.
When he just joined Place, if you're familiar with Place. So I've been exploring that a little bit.
Yeah.
And they have Brevity, which Brevity is a whole other deal. So Command will do everything you want it to do. You just need to figure out how to use it. So I do postcards. So these are farming postcards I use. Both of these postcards have resulted in $700,000 transactions in the last 4 months,
Really?
just from these postcards.
And these are not your database. These are
Farm area.
just
So River Bluff Estates in Bloomington, there are 83 households. They get this postcard monthly. I had an off-market deal. So this property, literally, this property sold off-market.
yeah.
The people who bought this house are closing on their house today. Like, so I'm here, not at a closing, which I told them they're fine. But yeah, so Command will do the marketing you need it to. You just need to figure out how to do it. So, so that's fine. Database management with the app, it'll do everything you need it to. Reminders, it'll do everything you need to do. My transaction coordinator does all the opportunity stuff, so I have no idea how to do any of that, nor do I want to know. Yeah, so I think it's fine and it's not great. So people will say, oh, this sucks, I need something else. No, you don't. You just need to go lead generate and figure it out later,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It's all about putting the contacts in there first too.
Right.
You gotta put people in there so that you can
Yep.
execute on the smart plans
And
and
follow the notes.
all the
Yeah.
notes, put them on the, put all their information in there.
Yeah, and it's not perfect either. Like I go in here and I have 27 past due tasks. That stinks, and I stare at it every day, and I will get to it. Right?
I have 200 right now, so that's nothing compared to where I'm at, because I'm
Yeah.
doing the DTD2 as well, so it reminds you when you have to
Yeah,
reach
like
out
it-
to the alphabet.
yeah, and I see some of these quarterly, right?
Yep, yeah,
Like this guy, he's coming to happy hour tomorrow, so I could be like, well, mark that done. Like,
yeah.
you just gotta use it,
Mhm,
right? So
mhm.
it's fine, and it's not great, and it's not an excuse to go get to work.
Mhm. Yeah, let's talk about being a MAPS business coach.
Yes.
Okay, because a lot of us know about MAPS coaching. It's a coaching division,
Yeah.
coaching company in Keller Williams.
Has anybody ever heard of Business Maps? It's called Business Maps now. which
Business
is
Maps.
Weird. Used to be Maps Business Coaching.
Ah, okay. So how did you get into becoming a MAPS business coach, and who do you coach? Is it realtors or is it other business owners? Tell us about that.
Yep. Just by show of hands, how many of you have ever heard of Business Maps? Anybody?
I have. 'cause
So
of
here's
you.
the logo.
Oh, there's the logo.
I have
Okay.
some cards if you want. But you
Sure.
So Business Maps is a sister company to Keller Williams, owned by Gary. Abe Sharif is the CEO, one of the best maps coaches ever. So essentially what we decided to do is take all the systems, tools, and models of Keller Williams in the MRA book and bring them to the business world. So you guys in your database have people who need coaching. We coach everyone outside of real estate. So I can't coach anyone in real estate because they would be a MAPS coach.
Mhm.
So I have, and I only got a few clients right now. One of them owns a fitness gym in Tucson. One of them is a app developer in Tennessee. One of them is a real estate wholesaler, which is different, so I can coach him in Utah. I've coached mortgage loan officers. Yeah, so anyone outside of real estate, we coach. It's just like MAPS coaching, 4 calls a month. So here's the opportunity for you guys. And I know I presented this when I taught Profit Share here or the old office a couple years ago. If you refer a client to MAPS business coaching, you get $100 a month for the life of the contract. So we have realtors in Keller Williams making
Wow.
several $1,000s a month just in referring folks to MAPS business coaching. And you're not going to do it because of that, just like Profit Share, you're not going to do that because of that opportunity. You're doing it because you get to help someone who needs help
Mhm.
and coaching.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
So I decided to go down that route because I explored being a MAPS leadership coach.
Mhm.
And based on how that company was running back in the day, it was kind of a mess. And they've restructured everything now. And this just felt like a better fit
Mhm.
and a much bigger opportunity.
Mhm. So why do you think businesses fail? Or what's in your experience? What's the number one reason why businesses don't make it?
In
Or they struggle
outside real estate or inside?
outside?
Yeah, so we talk about that a lot. If most people start businesses because they love the business and they're entrepreneurial, but they're never taught how to actually run a business or hire people. So some of you have been through career visioning. We have a course called Leverage Leadership, which teaches business owners how to hire, right? Or if I always tell people, if I own a Caribou Coffee or a barbecue joint or a real estate company or a gas station or an insurance company, they all have the same models: economic, lead gen, budget, organizational, and now the accountability model. Every single business has those models.
Mhm.
So they fail because don't know they need a model, and they're not following a business plan.
Mhm.
And I would say the same thing for realtors. If you don't have a business plan,
Mhm.
you don't know where you're going.
Mhm.
Winging it's not going to get you where you want.
What business plan do you recommend? The GPS?
Well, yeah. So with our clients, we do a 135. We teach them the 411. It can be as simple as, this is kind of a business plan, meaning
It is.
your business plan should tell you what to do when you get to the office on Monday morning. And it can be that simple. So this tells me what I should do every single week. Yeah, these are the people I'm reaching out to. This is the, mailing, this is the email, which we've struggled with that a little bit too. And then these are the postcards and or mailings, and this is the social media stuff. Your plan, and I like, people make fun of me because I have a laminator at my house or at the office and I brought it in. But it's like when you see head coaches, they always have a laminate on the sidelines. This is my laminate. I carry this with me everywhere. I have one in my bag, I have one on my desk at the office, and I have one at home. And I'm looking at this all the time.
That's awesome. Mhm.
Because we can't remember everything,
Mhm.
right?
There it is, power. Mhm.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, I have two more questions for you, and then I'm gonna open it up to everybody, okay? Because I know
Sweet.
you gotta go soon, okay?
No, I'm good on time. I
You're
don't know.
good? Okay, good,
I'm gonna
okay.
be in Woodbury at
Okay. What class, training, event have you done at Keller Williams, would you say has had the greatest impact on your success?
I mean, I feel like I'd have to say bold,
Full.
although I hate bold. And we've done it 14 times, right? Or 13 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I think the biggest struggle we have is mindset,
yeah.
right? And we were at our lake place last week and I left my bold bracelets. Normally I'm wearing a bold bracelet everywhere. And part of that is with how many of you taken bold? Yep, some of you, there you go. Diane's saying yes. You can't control your first thought, but you always can control your second. And that's the purpose of the bold bracelet. So what I don't like about bold is just the smile and dial mentality of just make your contacts. It doesn't feel real. And yet I've never met anyone who's actually done all the work that has said they've regretted it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. We have agents like I mentioned Brent Johnson in our office from Edina. He hates bold with a passion. He'll never do it again. And he's also admitted that it stretches him to do the work. So so that would be for sure the class. And it literally, once you go through that process, you can never go back to not doing, the work. I mean, you can and you shouldn't.
Besides bold, what would be the next class or training event?
So I've never missed a mega camp or family reunion. And because one of your questions is, where's your business come from? Top three sources.
Where's your business come from?
So last year, 48% of my business was referral, and like 34 was actually 48 was agent referral.
48% of your business was agent referrals.
And then
Okay.
like 34% was actual database referrals, which I'm like, that sucks. So we gotta fix that. But yeah, I would say mega camp family reunion, like when you go there, do not hang out with each other, you hang out with other people. So I've been very purposeful about building relationships all over the country. And I have 3 buyers right now we're working with that are as a result of agent referrals. So yeah, I would say that. And then I would say 6 personal perspectives and Quantum Leap would be 2 others.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you stay at Keller Williams when you could go work anywhere?
I will never, and hopefully this is recorded, I will never leave Keller Williams.
Why?
Well, I have his smart ass remark, but I'll actually.
You drink the Kool-Aid.
No, well, so I would answer that in 2 parts. One would be, I'm an investor in one of the market centers. So contractually, I'm never going to leave. Could I leave? Yes. Am I going to? No. So that's my smart aleck response. I think when people leave our company, they leave for whatever reason. And the truth is they're not investing what they need to in everything we offer here to get the value of our company. Who you're in business with matters. And I've studied every single brokerage out there. And there's some cool models. And I believe we're judged not what others say about us, it's what we say about others. So I will always take the high road on all those other companies. And this is the company where you can build the biggest life possible and there are no limits, and you literally have all the tools at your disposal. Like I'll get calls from friends or people at other companies, and my first question is what is that company doing to help you build your business? And there's some of those companies that I've never gotten an answer yet, literally. Knowing Gary Keller since 2006, and I don't know him well. If I saw him in a mall, I could probably say hi and he'd know who I am. I mean, I've had lunch with him, just him and a couple other people, but I'm gonna bet on Gary forever, you know? And yeah, profit share is a huge deal as well. I'm luckily blessed to be the #1 profit share earner in our office.
You are.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So I had a goal when I was really young and not very smart of wanting to make more money passively than actively. But by the time I was 40, I turned 44 this year. And it's about half and half now, passive versus active. But you know, profit share is a real deal that I think no one understands. They don't take advantage of it. And that's okay. You know?
Yeah, it's all good.
So yeah, if you're someone in this, you know, here today that you're thinking about, you know what, maybe the grass is greener somewhere else, I would challenge you to ask, how are you watering your grass here? And what are you doing to take advantage of every opportunity in front of you? Because I'm willing to bet you're looking for easy somewhere else. And you know, the hard work is right in front of you. People, I heard a quote from someone, hard conversations don't cause divorce. It's the lack of hard conversations. And so if you're thinking about divorcing your brokerage, I think you got to look yourself in the mirror to say, am I really doing what I need to do to make this what it needs to be? And I'm willing to bet you can't go 50. I always tell people you can't go 100 yards and pull back 100. You both got to come 50 and meet in the middle. So if you're not taking advantage of what's here, that's just as much on you as it is the leadership for making sure you're having all the opportunities in front of you that you need to be successful. I started doing the Mega Agent interview in Edina because in 2020, there was not a single class on the calendar that I would block my calendar to be at. So I was like, okay, I can bitch about that, or I can just create,
Make change,
or I can create a event every single month that people are going to clear their calendar to be at.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome. You're a leader. So if somebody wanted to aspire from being a real estate agent into a leadership role, that is a really squeaky chair.
We tested it beforehand. I was like, Jen was like, is it squeaky? I'm like, no, but it might be my weight having some.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to aspire from being a real estate agent into a leadership role at Keller Williams, whether it's a team leader, an MCA, a productivity coach, Melissa's role, Noah's role, what would your advice be to them?
I was going to put that question back on you because it's exactly what we did when you became a team leader.
Yep.
Go interview the people who are in the role to see if you really want that, right? Because I mean, I will tell you, I asked Jen, I was like, you still loving the role? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, that's awesome. And that sounds exhausting. I was a team leader 13 years, and it sounds fun, and you know, all that stuff. And it's a lot of work. You know, I mean, to have the entire brokerage on your shoulders, to have the entire, like, so you're the productivity coach, to have the new agents on your shoulders, to be the director of agent services, like trying to help people get to where they want to go. It's a lot of work. And I don't miss having the entire weight of a market center on my shoulders. But what I do miss is being in the know with things. And I miss everything that Keller Williams International provided to the leadership teams. I do miss that.
Yeah, they pour a lot of value into us.
I for sure miss that.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, we have a few minutes left. I apologize, but I want to open this up for questions that you guys have for Perry. So who's got a question for Perry?
Yes, sir. What's your name?
I'm Austin.
Austin.
thanks for speaking today.
Yeah.
So you said that your nephew is struggling. I'm curious, is he working with first-time home buyers?
Yeah, good question. So he got licensed in December of 2020.
Mhm.
So I'm 44, 5 kids, no time. He's 29, no kids, all the time in the world.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I was very hesitant to hire him because he is my nephew.
Mhm.
And so he got licensed in December of 2020, moved back from DC. And I was like, cool, I'm here to help you in any way I can. There's no chance in heck you're joining my team until you actually decide if you like this.
Yeah.
And so we didn't actually start exploring him joining until last fall. Yeah, October of 2021 is when he joined.
Okay.
Prior to that, I just pay him per showing,
Mhm.
or on many showings with clients, I'd give him 5% or 10% as a showing agent.
All right.
So yeah, right now we have, I think we have 3 to 4 buyers right now that are all, 280 to 450 price range
Yeah.
that are writing 50 grand over, no contingencies, losing out.
Yeah, that's right where I'm at. That's why I was
Yep.
curious.
Yep.
What kind of advice are you giving him to try and overcome those hurdles?
Yeah, so one is we've taught our clients that we're not looking at anything unless we really think we're going to write.
Okay.
So we do the due diligence on the front end, because literally you could go look at 8 properties and it's a waste. It's not a waste of time, and it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So so it's setting expectations on the front end. One of the mistakes I think I've made with him,
Mhm.
that if you have a team or going to start a team or you're on a team, is get very clear about the expectations of what you, the team member,
Mhm.
expect out of the agent and vice versa.
Yeah.
So one of the things, most of my ideas I've ripped off from someone else. So when I interviewed Scott Smith, he said, our people on our team, we want them to do 24 deals a year. 8 they're going to find on their own, 8 we're going to get from sign calls and whatnot, and then 8 we're going to give them from the work we do.
Okay.
So with Noah, for example, that's the goal we set. All of the business he has right now is a result of me giving him business,
Mhm.
and he isn't lead generating to the point where he's bringing business on his own.
Okay.
And that can be a challenge,
Yeah.
and I would do anything to help him, but I've made investments in him in the business that I might not have made if it was just me.
That makes sense.
So it's impacting my bottom line, and I love him as a nephew, and I'm willing to do whatever I can do to help him. If you ask someone else, it might not be a smart business move on my part, and that's okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right,
Transparent.
here you go. Coffee.
Oh,
Oh,
all right, who's got
On the board.
questions?
Yes.
Amy's got one.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy.
What is one very specific thing that you're doing now that you would never outsource? And what's one very specific thing that you realize you like doing, but you probably should outsource?
Yeah, that's a good question. Handwritten notes. I write every single one of them. I'll never stop doing that for sure. And then what's one thing I should outsource?
That maybe you like doing, but you realize maybe you should outsource that to give you more time to do the things that are only you can do.
Yeah, that's a perfect question. So I'm exploring a VA right now as well, virtual assistant. I hate all the social media stuff. Literally, I should outsource that. But you asked, what do I like that I'm hanging on to? But I should outsource that if that answers your question. I despise the MLS input forms as well. Literally, I have one I got to do for a listing going live tomorrow. And some of that I need to take my own advice. Like, no job is too small to leverage out. We have someone who cleans our house, both of our houses, someone who does our lawn, like all of that stuff I want to leverage out because time is money. So you got to figure out what your dollar per hour activity is.
Mhm.
So I don't think there's things I like that I'm hanging on to that I should give up, but there's plenty of things I don't like that I'm still hanging on to just because of a lack of time to find the right people.
Fair
That
enough.
makes
That
sense.
makes sense. That works.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good answer.
No, that's great. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Who else has a
Sorry.
question? Was there one online?
Yes, sir.
Question for you.
Oh.
All right,
So,
I'm gonna give you this even if it's not a
okay,
good
it better be
question.
good. So you said you're a transaction coordinator. You haven't written an offer in
No.
2 years.
No.
Totally comfortable with, do you review it before you?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it back if they mess it up for sure.
So you just give them the terms of what it would be type of thing?
Well, so Home Free TC is a transaction company I work with. They have a Google form where you just fill it out and then they send it to you. That's simple. You only pay them if it closes, so. Yeah, does that answer your question? Yeah, so they literally have their forms and I can show it to you if you want. You fill out all the information, they'll send it to you. You got to review it and approve it and sign it and, then it goes right to your clients. Best $350 you'll ever spend all day.
This is Diane Hawkins. Hi, Perry. We used that same company, I believe it was under a different name, Minnesota Transactions or something, but use Alex, and it was fabulous. You could show a home and you could fill out that form at the home while your client's looking around. And by the time you got back to your office, it was in your inbox waiting for you. And she'll send it out and have it signed and have it back to you. It's brilliant.
Yeah, because think how much time it takes to write an offer. I don't have time to do that. I don't even want to know how to do that. Yep.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
How about, so you built up your business and now you're thinking about retirement. What do you think about an exit strategy and have you seen one well executed?
Yes, good question.
I'm asking this for Diane.
Well, so so I have 25% ownership in a market center and profit share. So between those two things combined, and I'm spitting, glad no one's in the front row. You can talk to different financial people. Like I want to pay off both of our properties because that's going to give us some freedom. My wife and I like to travel, so we're probably going to buy short-term rentals in Florida, in Scottsdale, for sure. Have I seen exit strategies that work? I don't know if I have actual examples, but I know like the Golden Handout book's highly recommended. I think people struggle with this because they don't set expectations in advance in writing to cover all scenarios that could come up. And then when stuff comes up, it's a gray area that they haven't decided in advance and it goes sideways, right? So, one of the questions like how are you gonna work, retire, all that.
When are you gonna
I have-
retire?
I have,
will you?
I mean, it depends on what your definition of retire is, right? I think we're just buying a house in Woodbury, which is kind of a crazy idea. That's not cheap. I think the term retire is just doing what you want when you want to. I mean, I could have coaching clients Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays and not work at all, the rest of the time. But I think that would be a disservice to the mission I've created for my life. So at some point, my wife is 4 years younger than me, so I'm 44, she's 40. I would say by 50 or, 55, 60, I'd like to slow down at some point. My dad only lived to 63. He was a lifelong smoker. My intent is to live to 90. So, yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really answer your question. And I think if your plan is to just sell your last house, put your one foot in the grave and, go to closing and then put the other foot in the grave, that's a problem, right? So what's your plan for passive income to fund the life you want to fund after this? We have a really good friend who's a Bloomington cop, and his pension kicks in at 100% at age 55, and he's like 41, 42 now, so he's got like 13 years, and then he gets 100% of his income for life. And I'm like, holy smokes, Nick, like that would be amazing. And I think we can create that same exact plan versus or not versus, with profit share, investment properties, whatever, if done correctly, right? So, yeah.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Yeah, there's one question in the chat.
Yeah.
And Brooke was wondering, when you sit down to lead generate, what does your process look like?
Yeah, so I look at this to say, what do we need to do? So, April, D, O's and L's, right? So I'll go in command, it says like show 1 to 10, I'll go show 1 to 500. I'll sort by last name, I'll scroll to the D's, and I'll just start there. And in addition to that, it's going through Facebook and birthdays and all of that and writing those notes. And we were just talking about in our ALC meeting today. I'm behind on notes this month, so we talked about Kim Guild would be a good interview for you. She sets aside 1 p.m. on Mondays to write her handwritten notes. I was like, well, what if we did a happy hour where we're writing notes and you can't have your second drink until you get your 10 done?
I love that. Yes.
That sounds more fun, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, Mr. Stewart, hello, sir. So, yeah, I mean, literally, it's in front of my computer. I have a standing desk that goes up and down, and I stand in, reach outs. And I'm not calling every single one of them. Like, if you haven't talked to someone and it'd be weird to call them, don't freaking call them then. But what I've discovered is the relationship trumps everything. And I've had people buy without me, and I didn't make the phone call, and that's on me, not on them. So find a reason to call. Our reason to call right now is our happy hour tomorrow, wherever that postcard is. So,
Excellent.
I got a
yes, sir.
question. So you talked about possibly a VA, that route. Have you looked at any other routes in growing your team with either admin, other agents? Because I know you talked about the red book and there's a strategy there.
Yeah.
So have you looked into that at all? Is that something
Yep.
you're looking to do?
Yeah, so if you go to page 273 in the red book, it talks about the 7 levels. What you should do, and again, I got a long way to go here. So you should hire your admin first, right? I didn't hire admin first. I had a transaction coordinator first and then part-time admin before bringing Noah on. And the book also talks about leading with revenue. So to answer your question, yes. And we're not at a point yet where I want to fully support, like a $50,000 a year job. So could we add a VA now for a fraction of the cost to help offset some of that stuff? That's what we're exploring. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
All right.
anything else?
I have a really selfish question.
Perfect. I love
I'm
those.
starting on May 1st, and I'm just curious, yay.
You're starting in the business?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm just curious, I need to get my hands on the red book. What else would you say would help me hit the ground running?
Do you have a database?
Command.
Meaning how many people are in there?
I need to have an appointment set up with Noah to get
Yeah.
it uploaded. I would say probably about 800.
Yeah, so of the 800, and it's Amy, right?
Yeah.
Of the 800, how many of those, if they saw you at Target, would say hello?
Probably about 400.
Okay, so start with the 400, get rid of the rest, and put them in the CSV file that you can upload into Command. And again, Command's not great, and it's fine, right? And then send them a letter in the mail saying, hey, I'm in real estate, super excited. I have 100 years worth of experience of folks in our office to help me, would love the opportunity to be a resource for you. Okay, so agents will do that, and then it'll go out in the mail, and then 3 days later, they're gonna stare at their phone, hoping it rings.
Yeah.
You get to actually then call every one of those people, and all you say is, hey, it's Amy. I just wanted to confirm you got my letter. Let me know if I can help.
Would you send those to out-of-state people as well?
Some
Like
people
maybe
are
have a
saying yes.
separate letter that's, for referrals?
Yeah, some people are saying yes. You can say yes. I didn't do that when I chose to. Noah, who works with me, did do that. When I started, my budget was super tight, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with the I think I have 308 in my database. I'm just gonna stick with them because I know people all over the country and I don't care that much.
Sure.
So I would keep it small.
Thank you.
Yep. You can't not make the phone calls.
Mhm.
So I would say, don't send the letter if you're not committed to the calls.
I'm not afraid to make phone calls.
Cool. What else? Did we do okay?
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Perry, for coming in and sharing
Thank you.
with us your experience and what you've learned and giving us your time today. And I know personally, when I was stepping into the team leader role, I reached out to you first and you were very helpful and you gave me a lot of advice that I still carry with me today. So you've always been someone that we've looked up to and admired and grateful to have this opportunity to get to know you. So
Thank you.
awesome. Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you so much for participating and thank you, Perry. And
Yeah, so if you guys have other
Yeah.
questions, so when I start these interviews, I always say, you could have been anywhere in the world today and you chose to be here with us, and we don't take that lightly. So if you have other questions, I can leave a couple cards. Do not hesitate to reach out. I certainly don't have all the answers, and I've made enough mistakes to have a few.
awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Woo!
Would you create these with your logo on and everything?
Yeah, so if you Google,
You can just do it.
what's that?
That was, you gave that to me 2 years ago.
What?
Wow.
Remember what you did? You handed out money for